these kids are not going to be happy. They are not going to be happy at all. And the second thing that crosses my mind is, where's the nearest Holiday Inn? But I can honestly say that while snoring from myself kept a lot of the kids up, and the smell of Axe body spray permeated the entire building, the accommodations meant that our group spent much more time participating in conversations, enjoying the fellowship of others than we did when we were staying in those cush condos. Taking the focus off of where we were staying helped us focus more on the mission that we had at hand and on participating in it together. Now, there's a sentence in the reading today that took me a while to figure out how to deal with. But if any town refuses to welcome you or listen to you, shake its dust from your feet to show that you have abandoned those people to their fate. When I read something like this, it just seems so harsh. It seems so brutal. And for me, when I read it, it just seems so separated from the heart of the gospel. As I was thinking over the words, I noticed something about myself, though, and how I act sometimes when I'm in situations of sharing my life with others. When people hear, for instance, that I'm going back to school, which I'm going to be doing this fall, they ask me, well, what are you going back to get? What are you going to study? And honestly, there are some situations where I just want to say, oh, I'm just going back for a master's degree. I don't want to say, well, I'm going to seminary to be a pastor. Because, to be honest, sometimes when that happens, the conversations tend to just drop. They stop right there. She goes, that's nice. And walk away. And I don't want to have to explain and try and catch up. And so, sometimes I enter into that conversation with my mind already saying, I'm not going to say it. So I walk into a conversation already leaving these people to their fate, already not taking the steps to move them further. And I don't think I'm the only one who does that. All of a sudden, these words convict us because the disciples, and through the call of Christ in his church, us as well, are called to care. We're called to be passionate about God's message and his love for others. To be passionate about Jesus. To be so passionate that Jesus commanded his disciples to knock the dust from their sandals when they can't get through to a town. And it made me think about it in another way. In sports, we use a very similar phrase. Shake it off. When you mess up a play, when you miss a throw, shake it off. So that you'll be ready to go and focus on the next play. The call to shake it off is much more about our attitude and ability to bounce back than about casting other people off. We shake the dust off so that we are 100% there the next time the situation comes up. So that we're ready to speak at the next town we walk into. And we're not holding back the regrets and the pain from not being accepted before. In the Gospel of Mark, the first words Jesus spoke to his disciples are, "Come, follow me." And the last are, "Go into the world and preach the gospel to all creation." Responding to God's love means we go into the world with his message, just like the disciples did, to both share the gospel and to heal the broken. The true life of Christianity doesn't happen in the pews of its churches, but in the shared meals in its homes, the kind words to hurting neighbors, and the helping hand that's given to those in need. To say it simply, sometimes the life of the church needs a little more focus on life outside of the church. Like our youth who trained in service and working as a team through many of the fundraisers that we did to get to Joplin, and like our Olympians from around the world who trained so hard to participate in the London Games, we're called to train to throw off our distractions and to participate in the call that Christ gives us. Now, this might mean different things for each of us, but the call remains the same. Go. I wanted to share a story about someone who I know who is living out that call right now. My friend C.J. Campbell, some of you may have met him. He is a confirmation guide in the confirmation program. He is also someone who has helped me at more lock-ins than any human should ever have to endure. But he is at this moment following the call, this very moment, in fact. See, CJ is walking 75 miles over the course of 11 days from his home in Rockford to Evanston, Illinois, which is just north of downtown Chicago, so that he can raise awareness and funds for an organization called Over the Rainbow, who provide low-income housing to those who have disabilities. What makes this walk even more astonishing is that CJ has cerebral palsy, and he walks with the use of crutches. At this moment, he's walking somewhere around Carpentersville, and I stole a quote from one of the interviews that he had before he began his walk. "I believe in my potential to do great things." This is the heart of the message that Jesus wanted his disciples to return back from their journey with. The passage reads that they shared the message of Christ, they cast out demons, and they healed the sick. They found their potential to do great things because they accomplished great things. Luke's detailing of the story in chapter 9 begins with Jesus saying, "The harvest is great, but the workers are few. Go, because you have the potential to do great things." You can join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, you have given us such abilities. You've graced us, and you've given us these things so that we can be a part of your purpose, that we can use them to share your word and your message with others, and be a part of the plan of bringing your kingdom here. Lord, help us to see the opportunities that come, to focus and be ready and to train for that moment so we can go where you call us to. Lord, keep us from the distractions that tend to take over our lives, and help us to focus on the calling you have for us.